Hey guys, welcome to Get It Done with Gabby. Today I have a massive closet declutter with you. Actually, it is a 3-closet declutter. I am working at my grandma's house this week. We do not live in the same state, so I rarely get a chance to come help her. We have been working on decluttering her house for about 2 years now, but I only am ever back home twice a year. So we work in little tiny chunks of time. I usually have about a week to get things done for her while I'm home. So with that said, I had a mission in mind this time, and it was to go through all of my grandma's clothes. Now, believe it or not, we have done this before. Like I said, she has 3 closets of clothes. And so a couple years ago, the first time we did this, we went through each individual closet, decluttered some clothes. I did some minor organization, as you can kind of see here. There are 2 closets upstairs that she has with clothes. But the problem we're trying to solve is that she doesn't really come upstairs. Her bedroom is now downstairs. So that's the closet she pretty much exclusively uses. She rarely comes upstairs to access all of these other clothes so they don't get worn. She forgets what she has. And it's just not very functional for where she is right now. Right now, I am unloading all of the upstairs closets and I am bringing everything downstairs. Like I said, mobility is limited at this point, so there's not really any point in keeping things upstairs that she wants to wear regularly. We're going to try to exclusively leave upstairs for overflow storage, holiday, stuff that she does not need to access on a regular basis. So here's a quick shot of all of the upstairs clothes laid out on the beds. And now I just gotta haul all of this stuff downstairs. Oh, and by the way, when we start this declutter, we are gonna do one run through of all of the upstairs clothes first because Parker is taking a nap in my grandma's downstairs bedroom, so I can't get to that closet at this particular moment. So we're using Parker's nap time as a jumping off point for this declutter. Something that I have learned about my grandma doing this for the past couple years is that day one is pretty hard for her. I would say day one of decluttering for anyone is really hard. Decluttering is a muscle that has to be flexed and used. Otherwise, it's just kind of something you want to resist and you don't want to do. So day one was just round one. Every single piece of clothing here is going to be gone through twice. So, initial round, just getting her into the flow, getting her to let go of things that are easy to let go of, things she knows she doesn't want. And no pressure, no pressure situation. You cannot force another person to get rid of their stuff. If you do, it will just send them down a hole of regret, and quite honestly, they won't want to let you help at all. So if you are helping someone declutter, be very patient. And your opinion in all of this really is irrelevant because it is not your stuff. So you're just there to facilitate and assist them in this process. Nothing more. So as much as you may think, they don't need that specific thing anymore, it's not really up to you. And this is a constant struggle that I have with my helping my family declutter, because it's in my head, if you could just let go of these things, you would have so much less stress and way less stuff to deal with. But again, it's not my decision to make for them. So if they are allowing me to help at all in the first place, I will take the opportunity to help where I can. And in this scenario, it was just holding up each individual piece of clothing for my grandma to then make a decision. And I will say, another thing that I have come to expect from my grandma is that after I leave on day one and come back for day 2, she is in a whole different mindset. She is ready to rock and roll. She is when I came in the second day this time, she was like, I'm ready to get rid of so much more stuff. I know I don't need it. I can totally get rid of this now. And that's literally all it took, was one night for her to think it over and be like, okay, why am I holding on to this? Why am I actually keeping this? And so we went through everything again, and she got rid of even more stuff. So another factor in all of these massive piles of clothes is that my grandma forgot a lot of what she had. And so she was telling me at the beginning of this that she needed to go buy more work pants for the shop for when she was over there. And by the end of this, that was not the case at all, because she just didn't realize where all of her pants were, that she had so many, and that so many of them could be turned into work pants. I feel like this happens a lot when there's a lot of clothing overwhelm and just way too much. You lose your stuff, you don't realize what you have, you buy duplicates of things that you don't need, and then you just add to the pile of mess that you have. Oh, another thing that I wanted to add is that while I'm going through this initial run through, I'm doing finer sorting of the clothes. So when I did this the first time, we just kind of did a general organization, pants, shirts, that kind of thing. This time, I'm really breaking it down into specific categories. So basic t-shirts, nice t-shirts, basic long sleeves, nice long sleeves, sweatshirts, cardigans, sweaters. All these kinds of categories are getting their own individual piles, mostly for the visual aspect, so my grandma can see exactly what she has and how many she has of each item. So as you can see right here, this is the first official declutter pile that we are taking off of hangers and folding up. So normally we would just take these to donation and get them out of the house like that night. But my grandma is preparing for a garage sale. My aunt is hosting a garage sale in a couple weeks, and so she is going to take a run at selling all this stuff first, but a promise was made that nothing will re-enter the house after the garage sale. It will all be sent straight to donation, so anything that doesn't sell is out of here. Okay, so here is my grandma's active closet. This is the downstairs bedroom closet that she is using all of the time. Like I said before, we have gone through this once, and I just kind of did a basic organization, pants, shirts, that kind of thing. So now we're going to be bringing this out to go through. And kind of what I was talking about earlier about trying to force people to get rid of things. At this point in the day, my aunt had stopped by to hang out with us, and she is one of my favorite people in the entire universe. She has such a spicy personality, but when it comes to my grandma decluttering, it is not a good combination. They butt heads so badly because my aunt's really direct. She's like, you don't need this. That's ugly. Get rid of it. And then that immediately sends my grandma into a resist kind of mode. So again, if you are helping someone declutter, you gotta let it wash over you. Let them make their own decisions, because at the end of the day, the harder you push, the more resistant they're gonna be to the process. Alright, so here is a look at the pile of clothes that came out of the downstairs closet. It is massive just in itself, not even counting all the clothes we've already gone through that are rarely touched. So we're going to go through this quick, rapid fire. I laid absolutely everything from that closet out in front of us, and we just started bam, 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 up, down, yes, no. And a lot of the stuff in this pile was initially keep, because it's stuff that she sees every day, stuff that she thinks she wears every day, and stuff that she's comfortable with. So this pile didn't get decluttered as quickly, but like I said before, I sorted into subcategories, and when all this is done for day 2 is round number 2, where we go through everything once again in their like tiny subcategory. She can see what she has of a specific item, how many of those items she has. Yeah, like I said before, day 2, she was in the zone. She was ready to offload stuff. So we actually got started on round 2. The very last thing this first day, I went through my grandma's pants with her. And so as you can see, we have them really sorted down into subcategories. But then day 2, I found a whole other pile of pants that I didn't realize was there. So we went through all of this again and really pared down on things. But like I said, day 2, this is round number 2. So we are just hammering through all of this again so she can see like, okay, this is the sweatshirt pile, just specifically sweatshirts. And I did get pretty direct with her on this. I was like, how many sweatshirts do you think is a reasonable amount of sweatshirts to own? And so she's like leaning over, looking at the hangers, trying to see how many she has. I was like, don't worry about how many you have. How many do you think is actually a good amount of sweatshirts to own? And so I think her answer to me was like 15 or something like that. And so I was like, okay, now let's go through this pile. She's like, are you going to make me only have 15? I was like, no, I'm not holding you to anything at all. I just want you to be aware of what you think is reasonable versus what you have, just to be aware of it. So by the time we got through the sweatshirt pile, we had it down to 23, which is really impressive for my grandma because she loves sweatshirts and t-shirts. Those are like her thing. That is what she loves. That is what she likes to have and what she wears constantly. So for somebody to have 23 sweatshirts that they love, why not? I'm a sweatshirt hoarder too. I freaking love sweatshirts. So I get it. There are some categories where having a reasonable number of things isn't reasonable. Like it's just certain things bring you joy and you want to have more of those, and that is totally okay. So here I go again, filling up another donation garage sale bucket to get out of the way of all of our piles so we can keep going. Oh, and one other thing that I forgot to mention about day 2 declutter is my grandma started going through old pictures and she realized how old some of these items were, which encouraged her to then want to get rid of them because she's like, oh crap, some of these shirts are like 30 plus years old. Maybe I don't need them anymore. So when we were all through the pile of clothes and I finally had that all sorted, I went out to the garage and counted every single item that we had decluttered. And she got rid of 115 different items. What a huge amount of clothes to offload. I was so proud of her. And this wasn't even including shoes. We went through shoes too, completely off camera. And I think she got rid of at least half of her shoes. That initial like container that we went through that you saw her get rid of none, she cleared out over half of that the next day. So just be patient when you're decluttering with other people because they will get there in their own time. Now we are back into the downstairs closet to reload things. Like I said in the beginning, my main goal was to get everything downstairs for her that she wears on a regular basis. So she can see what she has, she can rotate through it, and then be more aware of things that she doesn't use and maybe get rid of those on her own time. Part of the problem with this closet is that there's not a lot of space. There's not a lot of storage space, and a big chunk of it was being used for a lot of random items, as you can see here. I took all of the random stuff out. Actually, I took everything out of this closet. And all the random stuff that was not clothing or shoe related, I set on the bed. And again, we went through all of that off camera. And what we ended up doing was putting that all in very high top shelf. Because most of it was stuff that she did not need access to on a regular basis. It was just a place to store items that she needed to keep, like important documents, paperwork, that sort of stuff. So we ended up putting that on the very top shelf. But I used all of that like extra random storage space that she was using for all of her pants. So now all of her pants are in the different sections like work pants, dress pants, capris, long pants, all that kind of stuff. And now I'm just working on loading in the clothes based on, you know, what she'll grab at more frequently. And I am also going through and color coding everything, which isn't super necessary. I have no expectation of her maintaining the color coding. I just wanted it to look nice for her when she saw the final reveal. And so she really felt a sense of calm and peace because decluttering can be such a stressful process, especially for people who don't for people who aren't naturally drawn towards it or enjoy it. Obviously, I'm a person who enjoys decluttering for the most part. There are only a couple categories that I struggle with. But other than that, I have seen the huge benefits to decluttering in my life. So I like doing it. Offloading stuff gives me an endorphin rush. Like, I enjoy clearing spaces. But that's not the case for a lot of people. Whenever I come through my grandma's house, she can't sleep for a couple nights because the whole process is pretty stressful, and it does get worse before it gets better. It gets messy. Like, things look chaotic. And so one of my main goals was to make this look super nice for her so she could find everything she needed and open her closet and be like, wow, these are all pieces that I really, really love and want to wear. And I hope that works out for her. I'll have to ask her here in a couple weeks how it's working for her, but I just really wanted to help get this space nice for her. And at the end of the day, we had pretty much everything downstairs. The only stuff I took back upstairs were the super dressy clothes and the holiday sweaters. That was it. Everything else fit down here. Everything else for daily use is accessible to her now, which I think is a huge, huge victory. Alrighty guys, we are coming to the end of this extreme closet declutter. Here is a little look at the after of this closet. I am so pleased with how it turned out, and I'm so excited that I got pretty much everything moved downstairs for her. And huge shout out to my grandma for A, letting me do this, and B, getting rid of so much stuff. Decluttering is such a tough process, and she did absolutely amazing. If you guys are new to the channel and enjoy this type of content, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!